Now tell us a little bit about, your upbringing. You mentioned where you was born and raised from, but what was your home life like?
Upbringing, I was raised in Lauderdale, Mississippi. It's about 3 hours north of the coast from Biloxi, maybe 5 or 6 hours from New Orleans. Upbringing was pretty segregated. A lot of whoopings, a lot of beatings. Um, all black school. My family really stubborn black folks, so they got they got their minds made up. They say, "Well, you gonna do this when you grow up? That's that." They got their beliefs made up. They religion made up. So you do what they say is their way, the highway. It's not really much free thinking where I'm from. But the childhood was really country farm life, a lot of animals, a lot of trees, a lot of backwood living. I had to move. My mom, she got married to an old army buddy who lived here in Kansas City. They divorced later on, but either or, we moved here with him. And from Mississippi to here in Kansas City is two different worlds, pretty much. So I like the United States because different worlds in every state. And I moved to KC, Midwest, and I learned that there was more to be given to a person. Like where I'm from is only football, basketball, and high school. So moving to KC, they got swim, they got golf, they got soccer, and it just blew my mind. I wasn't even aware that schools had access to more sports. I didn't know that existed. Because they keep you in that little bubble in the South. They don't really want you to expand. They want you to either go military, like I said, police, or just do what they want you to do. Even to this day, they don't like what I do. But yeah, it was me moving overall was the coup de grace of finding out my potential.
And KC pretty diverse though, right?
Very, it's very melting pot here for sure. No Chinatown, but it got like a Mexican side, got the black white. It's pretty melting pot out here though.
Now, when did you start getting the love for wrestling? I know you started MMA first, correct?
I did,
And then
I did.
why did you choose to leave MMA and go over to wrestling?
Just the weight cut. I could My body physically can't handle cutting 20, 30 pounds. I can't do that. And then people I will fight will come down from 30 pounds up to fight me and then gain that weight back next day. So I'll be fighting people way heavier than me. It just wouldn't work out in my favor. So I just kind of stopped doing it. But wrestling definitely worked more in my favor. And I mean, I still like MMA. I love MMA actually. Still a big fan. But wrestling just made more sense because of my body type.
Right. I was going to ask because you still support a lot of those guys and still, watch a lot of the MMA, correct?
Oh yeah, a lot of them follow me. I follow them. I know a ton of UFC fighters. I wrestled a couple on REF, of course. I trained with a handful of them too. It's a dream come true actually to wrestle and train with my idols. Actually, pretty crazy.
And then have you had the chance to wrestle and train with some of them, if some you can name?
I mean, of course, Arman and Clay Guida. We wrestled on TV competitively. I won one of those matches.
Yeah.
I've trained with Patchy Mix out in Vegas. I've trained with Aljamain. I've been in the same room as Mariah. I never really trained or grapple with him. Um, but yeah, those are some of the few names I definitely got my hands on and got to dabble with a little bit. Even the RAF, we wrestled with some bronze medalists maybe here in the practice room. Some Russian guys can't really pronounce their names to be honest, but we definitely dabble a lot with these bigger names because I got access to them now.
And I seen a clip where you got to meet John Jones. What was that like? And
Yeah,
did
no,
you get a chance to talk to him outside of that conversation that was posted?
I did. We so I don't get starstruck. I still to this day I don't expect people to know me everywhere I go because I only got what 1.8 million. There's 7 billion people on the planet, so I don't like walk around with a big ego. So he knew who I was, and it definitely threw me off guard. We spoke for a little bit right there in that moment. We spoke a little more backstage, a smidge backstage. Spoke a little more on stage after the event. He gave me some flowers. I'm just in love with what I do for the community. I didn't think he knew what I did. I didn't know him. They don't follow me. I don't think they know me. So I just assume they don't. But I want to introduce myself to him. He said, "Oh yeah, I love what you do." But I said, "You know who I am?" He's like, "Yeah, I know who you are." I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Okay." That threw me off. He said, "Well, you famous?" I said, "I know I'm famous, but there's 7 billion people on Earth, bro. I got
Right.
1.7. You got the math don't math right there." So, but to meet him was a big starstruck moment of mine because I don't get starstruck like that often. But that's the best of the best, and he liked a lot of my videos now too. Even he's still kind of somewhat staying in touch about this premise, give me support. through likes or comments or whatever, and it's amazing because these guys you've been looking up to since you was a kid. You never think that they would know you in person. You never know. You just never know who you inspire and what they do because of what you do for them as a youth. So
Right.
I owe them a lot.
That's a testament to that work you putting in. And I believe if I'm not incorrect that he started in wrestling though. Before
He did. He
MMA.
did start in wrestling. I think his brothers did too. A lot of his brothers are pro athletes. I think one of them played for the Ravens at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah, but his family is just athletically gifted. But he did start wrestling. Though. He is a very gifted wrestler. I think they're going to want to get him and Daniel Cormier to wrestle in the near future on RAF. I'm looking forward to that. Man, that'd be dope.
Yeah, he was definitely wrecking some stuff. I think I seen him
Hmm.
Goldberg some spear somebody at one point. So,
Oh yeah.
I mean, overall, what would you say? Do you favor wrestling over UFC? Or is it 50-50 for you? Or which one, or you just all around elite athlete?
Do you mean for me to watch? Me to to physically do? What do you mean by that?
Physically do.
Physically do?
Yeah.
I haven't done. No, I love striking. I was a 5-time karate champion, Shotokan champion. I don't speak about that much. So I do love. I'm more accomplished in striking than I am in wrestling. But oh man, I think it would be 50-50, man. Because I just personally like violence. Personally, that's just my cup of tea. In a good way, But yes, definitely half and half. Because I'll watch more UFC more than I watch wrestling.
Yeah.
But I do more wrestling than I do striking for sure.
Okay. Okay. And we was gonna get to that, but I'm like, since you brought up you like violence, we was checking out the bout when you fought Arman, and things got a little bit heated. I seen coming off the ground, you end up shoving him one time, and then off that shove, he end up headbutting you a little bit, and the crowd kind of got sent up. What was your feelings going on at that moment?
I felt a lot of things in that moment. The first thing was I got a little angry, like in my gut for a split second, and I got to his head. I said, "Hey, bro, what you doing, bro? Why you do that?" He's like, "You pushed me." I said, "Bro, chill. His kids here." That's what I was saying in his ear when he saw me kind of holding his arm and like walking back to the center of the mat. I was telling him, "Bro, chill. His kids here, bro. We can't be doing that in front of the kids." He's like, "You pushed me. You pushed me." And then I couldn't really like elaborate more because the ref was like, "Let's go, let's go, let's go." So I mean, I felt like a little bit of a bitch a little bit after because like that's why I like that. I like fighting, but at the same time, he got his click on the side ready to jump and jump my ass too at the same time.
I seen
It's
that.
like I ain't trying to have RAF go through a whole nother brawl and then drop their value overnight because I threw my hands and couldn't control my emotions. So it just I don't know. It's allowed for him to control, not to uncontrol his emotion, but I feel like if I would have did that, I'd have got in trouble. So I just let it go and we just can't continue with the match. I didn't want to show that example for the kids. I would have ended up regretting that if I did that for sure. So I'm glad I didn't do that.
And that was huge. I'm super glad and proud you were able to self regulate like that, and you was thinking forward. Like, what would the kids say if I just crash out at this moment and just go and be like this? And like you said, it probably fared just differently for you, because it's your background and such. So,
I mean,
um,
one thing I learned is that emotional men end up in jail. I'm the most emotional man on the planet. They in jail. So I also thought about the damn cops. Like, if I smack this motherfucker, am I gonna go to jail or for assault or what? Like, but I just let it go, man.
yeah, no, a lot of stuff was going on in your head at that moment. You was
Yeah,
like, but you scored a lot of points on him in that bout. He
yeah,
is a super tough competitor. He's been doing it for a while at a high level. And I mean, what was it like, just the anticipation? I watched a lot of the content leading up to that. I know you was training extra hard. And then talk a little bit about it, and you addressed it, but a lot of people wanted to, I think they think your life is fully 24 hours online. So if they didn't see you training pre that fight, they was, knocking what your ethic was and how serious you
yeah,
were leading up to that fight. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
yeah. I train every day. It's just some things I don't want to put a camera in my fucking face. I want to just hyper focus on getting better. I do take this shit serious. I do want to get better at wrestling, so I don't always want a camera in my grill when it don't, that's not making me better. A camera in my face ain't making me better when I'm wrestling, bro. Sometimes I got to put it down and just do my thing and just exhaust my body and don't make it any easier every day. People they got this fake facade and they got their assumptions off of like I've been living 29 years and they see 30-second reels and remove the other 29 years and some change and they got their whole vision of me wrapped around their fingers. Like, bro, you just missed the whole version of me, you know what I'm saying? So um they got their assumptions, but I train every day, every single day. And that's for the 5 points. No one's ever scored that many points on Armand. I'm the least experienced wrestler in RF history and probably remain that person. So yeah, I lost, but I mean Giorgio couldn't do it, Uriah Faber couldn't do it, Lance Palmer couldn't do it. So I'm gonna give myself the flowers. Nobody give me my flowers. I'm gonna take them.
Right.
But I scored the most points on a top 30, top 40 Russian wrestler. He could easily be top 15 if you want to in Russia. I did that fair and square, and I'm gonna take my flowers.